Welcome to the Breakaway Entrepreneur Podcast, where master business coach Janet Fish and her special guests explore the characteristics and traits that lead entrepreneurs to success. Get ready for real conversations of what it takes to overcome real challenges and break away from your competition. Here's your host, Janet Fish.
Thanks, Ben. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm super excited for 2021. I'm sure you all are. 2020 was pretty exciting, pretty challenging for a lot of us. And so I kind of took it off over the holidays and I kind of relaxed a little bit and I started thinking about my goals for 2021. And I haven't finished them yet. I haven't completed them yet. And if you haven't either, I'm going to take you through the first couple of weeks of January, a couple of different types of goal setting exercises. And so I'm just going to jump right in. I believe that every successful entrepreneur should start each new year with written down goals on what he or she wants to accomplish. I just think it's really important to have goals. There's a number of reasons for that, and I guess the first reason I would say is if you don't know where you're going, then how will you ever know where you're going to get to? I'd like to equate it with I'm in the car, but I don't have an address of where I'm going, so I'm driving around. And that happens to us a lot, I think, as entrepreneurs. I think it's a great time of the year to start thinking about what you want to accomplish in 2021 and how things might be a little bit different as many of our worlds have changed a little bit. So I really like to set goals, and I'm just going to take you through the goal setting process called SMART goals. You're probably already familiar with that, but I'm going to give it my own little twist. So I'm going to what I call funify it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about SMART goals. I'm going to funify it a little bit, and then I'm going to talk a little bit at the end about things to avoid when setting goals. So let's just get right going. So why would you create goals? Well, like I said, if you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there. And I think goals are really important. I know that setting goals is what successful entrepreneurs do. And I know that you all are successful entrepreneurs or well on your way to being that. And so goals are pretty important. And they don't have to be daunting. And so I'll talk through that a little bit as we go through, but they don't need to be like incredibly crazy daunting. So let's just relax and ease into it. And then I think it's super important. Everybody needs a plan. So goals are important for many reasons. Those are just a few of them. So let's talk about SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So I'm going to talk through each one a little bit. If you're not familiar with SMART goals, this is just going to be a high-level kind of a introduction to it. If you are familiar with SMART goals, well then maybe you want to fast forward a little bit to get to the funify part. But anyway, they start with being specific. So who is involved? So specific is the answer to these questions. Who? What do you want to accomplish? Where's the location if that's appropriate? When? What is the time frame? What are the requirements and constraints around it? And why do you want to accomplish that goal? So to be very specific about what it is, who it is, where it is, when it is, why it is. Super important to be specific around your goals. Measurable. So super important here too. Concrete and tangible terms around measurable. I want to lose 10 pounds, right? Not I just want to feel healthier, not just I want to lose some weight, but I want to lose 10 pounds. Or I might even go more specific and measurable and say I want to lose a half a pound a week. So it's really important that you can measure it, because if you can't measure it, you can't really tell whether you've accomplished it or not. When will you know when the goal is attained? So make sure that's measurable. How much, how many, how long, how will I know that the goal is attained or accomplished? That's what makes it measurable. Attainable. So stretch goals should be challenging, but they need to be attainable. So if I never run before and I said I want to go out and run a marathon, like I wouldn't go out and try to run 26 miles. Like I'd say, okay, my first goal is to run a mile. And that might be challenging for someone who has never run. So they need to be attainable, but they also need to be a stretch for you. And don't make them so unattainable that you quit, right? Because that's a big thing we see happen a lot as January comes and we all set our goals and then we work really hard towards them, but we get frustrated because we're not getting there fast enough and then we quit. Shoot, we see that at the gym all the time. What do they say? They say that people's New Year resolutions for going to the gym usually end around Super Bowl Sunday, which is usually, I think, early February. So, make them attainable, make them stretch, but don't make them so out there that they demotivate you and you end up quitting. Realistic. Have an objective that you can work towards. And it's important that you make them realistic in that there is a process that you are willing to do the work to achieve, right? Goals are a over time kind of a thing. You don't set a goal and then it's done. And so it's important that you be willing to do the work to achieve the goal and that it's a realistic thing that you can do, right? And then it should be a challenge and one that you have a chance of achieving. So, okay, SMART goals, we're pretty familiar with them. Little overview of them. Oh, I forgot the timely. So timely, which of course, it has to have a time frame attached to it. There should be a sense of urgency equated with it. And you need to be held accountable. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second because now I want to funify. And that means make your goals fun. Gosh, how many times have I made a whole bunch of goals and I put them on a piece of paper and they sit on my desk and it just, every time I look at them, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, ho hum, they're boring. But secondarily, sometimes it's just like, I'm not excited about it. I haven't made them fun. And so I am offering up to you the opportunity, invitation to make your goals fun this year. So not only SMART, which, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely, but I'm going to give you my Funify SMART goals, starting with Sassy. Okay, so S is for Sassy. I like Sassy because Sassy is a reflection, in my mind, of your personality. I want your goals to be a reflection of your personality. If you're quirky, put some quirky things in there as far as what your goals are. Highlight you. I am quirky, and sometimes I'm pretty funny. And so when I put in my goals, I want my goals to reflect my personality. And I want to go back and look at them. I don't want them to be boring. I want to go back and say, and share them with people. Like that makes me want to share my goals with people because they're sassy and they're a reflection of me and they're a reflection of what I'm good at. And they highlight all the cool things about me. And so make your goals sassy. Maximize. Okay, so like I said, we too often create our goals and then we stick them in a drawer and we never look at them. Or some people don't even actually get to the goals. I'm a business coach, so I require all my clients to have goals. But a lot of times they'll just take those goals and they'll stick them in a drawer. They're around here somewhere. I've heard that a gazillion times. But I want you to maximize your goals, meaning don't have 5,000 of them. Have a small amount of them that maximize what you want to accomplish, right? Goals that focus on your strengths, that you can really embrace and just kick butt with them. Maximize those goals. Make sure that those goals are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. So my M for SMART in the Funify is maximize. Accountable. Okay, I'm a business coach, so I can't help myself here. And I'm going to Funify the accountable because sometimes people think, accountability, I don't want to think about that. That's not specifically that much fun. But accountability, it's all about how will you know when you're accomplishing your goals. And accountability is about who do you get to share them with. And accountability is about making them fun by how you share them with people and how you have people hold you accountable. So been on this podcast, actually, I think he was one of my first guests, Jim Kaspari, super, super good friend of mine, fellow business coach. I mean, he oftentimes is my accountability partner when there are some things I don't want to necessarily do, and I got to get them done. So oftentimes I will call Jim and I'll say, okay, Jim, on Friday I'm going to call you and I want to tell you that I've accomplished this goal. I mean, that makes it fun to me because he's a good friend of mine. We could always make some kind of a fun little bet that if I don't get it done, I have to do something for him, or I don't know what it is. But having accountability is, one, it's so bloody important. But two, it can be fun because now you're sharing it with other people, and those other people are helping you to accomplish your goals. Oftentimes, accountability, having an accountability partner will help you re-engage. Coming off the holidays, I mean, I worked the holidays. I wasn't supposed to. I was supposed to take the time off, but I love what I do, and I was working on some really cool things. But most years, when I come off the holidays, you've taken a few weeks off, and now it's January 1st, well, January 2nd, 3rd, or today's the 4th, first day Monday, first day back. Oftentimes it'd be like, oh, it's so hard to get back in the saddle. It's so hard to re-engage. But if I have, and this year, that's not so much the case. I'm super excited about this year, but oftentimes that has been the case. If I have somebody to hold me accountable to say, hey, I'm going to be back kicking ass January, the first week of January, and this year is going to be unbelievable, and it's going to start with a bang. Accountability can really, really help you do that, can help you re-engage when things get a little challenging or things get a little sticky, because you know that they do for all of us. So that's the A. Repeatable. So I like to create goals whose actions I can do over and over and over again. So one of my goals for this year is involves Instagram. Like, I'm on Instagram, but I don't really know how to do Instagram. I know how to do a few things. But my goal this year is to just really kick butt on Instagram and be posting every day and learn how some new skills and create reels and create IGTV and stories and cool graphics and audio files and all these kind of things. And so to me, Instagram is one of my goals for this year. And the way I funify that is I create actions that I can do over and over and over again. Creating a habit, posting on Instagram, creating videos for Instagram, and strengthening my skills around social media. Instagram's what I've chosen. But I could apply this repeatable to many, many, many of my goals for this year. So to me, it makes it fun because I know what to do, and I'm strengthening those skills by doing it over and over and over again. So repeatable, Yahoo. All right. And of course, tons of fun. Fun keeps you engaged. Fun keeps you coming back doing it. Fun encourages sharing. And fun ensures that you're going to stick with it. So Funify is, the T is tons of fun, right? It should be tons of fun, not ton. But let's have fun. Let's have fun accomplishing our goals this year. Let's not have set goals that feel oppressive and feel heavy and feel ugh. Let's create goals this year that are fun and that you can't wait to engage in. You can't wait to do over and over again. You can't wait to check them off the box. All right, one final thought that I will leave you with, and that is, these are the 4 things that I suggest you avoid when you create your goals. So the first thing we've talked about a little bit, but don't make goals that are so lofty that you'll never achieve them. Make them realistic. We talked about that, but I just see so many people create these unbelievably large goals that they can never achieve, and then they quickly lose heart, they quickly lose motivation, they get frustrated, they get defeated, they stop. So make them a challenge, make them a stretch, but don't make them so crazy that they demotivate you and they discourage you from achieving them, because goals that are too lofty could do that. Second thing, and this is just my pet peeve, because I've seen it over the years so many times. People create like a gazillion goals, and then they never get to them, or they become so minutia that it just becomes more of a clutter. It becomes more chaos. Like I love to say, money doesn't come to chaos, and money doesn't come to clutter. And sometimes people just create so many goals that it's just a clutter mess. And so my suggestion is you define some categories, and we'll talk about that in an upcoming episode, and create goals that create a handful of goals that you can absolutely kick ass and execute on. Number four, people create goals that aren't specific enough. And so I really encourage you to be super, super specific about your goals. Make sure that they're measurable. Make sure that they're timely. Make sure they're tied to something that you can say, yes, I achieved that goal, or no, I didn't achieve that goal. And then my last thought, which is my wish for everyone who really wants to kick ass and succeed in 2021, write your goals down. And then don't stick them in a folder. Don't stick them somewhere where you never look at them. Like write them down and then look at them every Monday, every month, every quarter. Create your goals with a friend or a colleague, and have a quarterly meeting about how you're doing with those goals, written down, and execute on them. So those are my thoughts for funification of goals for 2021. I'm going to leave you with those thoughts. I hope you have a great week, first week of January 2021. If you have any thoughts about how you create your goals so that you stick with it and all of that, contact me at coach@breakawaybusinesscoaching.com, or come over to our Breakaway Entrepreneur community over on Facebook. So go to facebook.com /BE Breakaway Entrepreneur Community, or just go over to Facebook and search the groups. It's called the Breakaway Entrepreneur Community. There'll be a link down in the show notes to get there, and I'd love to see you over there. Come on over there, get into the conversation, talk to us about your goals for this year, or any other questions you have about being an entrepreneur. It's a great community. We'd love to see you over there. All right, have a great day. Take us out, Ben.
Thank you for listening to the Breakaway Entrepreneur Podcast. If you like the show, please rate, recommend, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, so we can share more actionable insights with the entrepreneur community. Until next time, challenge your mindset, be bold, take action, and financial freedom will follow. You can get helpful resources and templates to guide and inspire you from Janet's free Breakaway Entrepreneur Toolkit. Get it now by going to www.breakawaybusinesscoaching.com/toolkit.